I used to work in places and people just put on the song and I'm like, yeah, cool, thanks. So I think there was about maybe 3 or 4 auditions till I got it. I actually went in riding gear. So I was in like the whole clothing, I had the little helmet. So yeah, I kind of looked the part. And then I got the call that I got Lisa, and I remember my mum was downstairs. She just yelled out, and I was upstairs, and she's like, "Do you want this show?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I want this show." No, I didn't ride before Saddle Club. We did about a month or 2 months of riding horses before filming. So they trained us up, the Lord of the Rings horse riding people, and they were amazing. And we got familiar with the horses. And now I can't stop riding. So I still ride. I love it. I've been working as a volunteer with mistreated and abused horses down in the Mornington Peninsula. I want anything to do with horses, really. I actually got quite shocked, because it was suddenly like you were an adult working. It was, 4 a.m. to 7 at night. You'd have your shower, read your lines for the next day, and you're on again. When I look back, I'm like, wow, I was so young, and to be reading that many lines and to know them off by heart by the next day, I was just like in disbelief that I could do that. We weren't doing as many stunts as the second series, but we were doing some, and it was just really scary at times. Like you'd be running on trotting on the horse and they'd just be like, okay, just fall off the horse onto a mat, and you'd be like, okay. I was not used to that at all, but was willing to give it a try. I just remember we were all just kind of like in shock at how good looking he was. It was just like this blonde god. It was only a guest star role for 1 episode, but he came on and, he was being a vet and being caring to the horse. And, I think we all just kind of forgot our lines around him because he was just so gorgeous. And then after, of course, we'd all just be kind of drooling and he'd just be like, I'm just getting away from you girls. Like, I need to move away from you. I know all the words, and, I still get people telling me all the time and doing the hand motions that I did and everything. It's nice to know that people know the words and, have a bit of fun with me about it. Like I used to work in places and people just put on the song and I'm like, yeah, cool, thanks. We'd just be like quite naughty, doing pranks on each other all the time, like throwing the boys' clothing in the trees, putting sand in their shoes. Yeah, we just do lots of cheeky things, especially Keenan and I. Like we'd be the cheeky ones, and then Sophie'd be like, I don't know if we should do this, guys. And we're like, come on, Sophie. I'm still connected with basically a lot of the people on that. Like I still talk to Chris Kirby, who played Keenan's dad on the show. And, Keenan and Sophie, I talk to all the time. We caught up, overseas and things like that when I was living in LA and Vancouver. Yeah, it's like a little family that's never left, really. There was a part of me that was kind of like a little bit heartbroken because, a part of me was kind of left there and I wouldn't be seeing the people on a regular basis. Keenan and Sophie were to go back to Toronto and Ontario where they were living at the time. And that was devastating to me because we spent so much time together, even on the weekends. They'd be at my house, we'd be running around the tennis court. We'd be up to no good. So like there was a big part of that friendship gone too. So we weren't even really told about it. I just heard that they basically had started filming. We didn't know the girls. We didn't get told about anything really. Basically it was like, here's season 3 girls because you guys are getting older. So I think there was a big missed opportunity in that, because instead of starting with a whole new cast, they really could have kept going with our age group. And then as we're growing up, going to school or making bad decisions or good decisions, that audience could have been growing with us instead of just completely cutting them off. Here's the new, cast. And then I know that a lot of fans were annoyed at that because they were like, well, we know what Stevie, Carol, and Lisa look like, and that's not them. And some fans out there were not a bit annoyed about it, but some who didn't know the show, who were coming through new, were liking that because they didn't know about it. I wish that, you know, we had been told ahead of time, and I wish that, you know, Ariel, who played Lisa, and I could have got together and maybe chatted or something like that. I'm told that she did a really good job as well, and they had the singing and everything, and that sort of it would have been for a whole new audience, really. Now, I'm a broadcast journalist, so I do radio. I do the morning bulletins. I do, you know, local news, write it, record it, edit it, you know, interview great stories. And, you know, I do a bit of heartfelt ones. It's weird because you did acting your whole life, and then you go, oh, wow, I'm in this place of, you know, what do I do now? And you try all these different things, and then you go, I'm kind of fitting in with telling stories and talking to people. And yeah, it's really nice.